Don't call me Lord, please.
All right, then, I'll just call you Michelle. And will you please call me Giselle?
Giselle and Michelle. The windows.
What?
To the wall.
Morgana. And I have been looking forward to continuing this for... I've been very excited. Just to let you know, as we have been saying for the past couple streams, this is a stream that's being done for Extra Life, which is a fundraising campaign to raise money for children's hospitals. Our donation link is down below if you look into our description area, and Nightball has been blabbing on about it for a little bit. But let's just continue. Let's look at the backlog. A little bit. Alright. Oh, I believe this is the maid, so go ahead.
His was a power that evoked images of witches or demons, the unclean and the imp. A mere touch was all it took for him to strip man and beast alike of its life. God, it's quite a cruel streak to bestow such a power upon such a beautiful young man. And a strange power it was indeed, like something out of a fairy tale. Like something confined to words upon the page, it seemed otherworldly, unbelievable. Nonetheless, as he had demonstrated to the white-haired girl, his peculiar powers were indeed. That said, the world has its fair share of oddities. It just so happens that those curiosities tend to remain hidden away, known only to a few. Although you have laid eyes upon a number of unusual phenomena yourself, Master. The doors to the past, though, through which we have passed. This very mansion. And, as a matter of fact, the two of us. Now, as you just saw, the white-haired girl found herself enraptured with this man and his accursed power. How do you think Mikhail acted in response to her proclamation?
Oh, and I forgot to say, Worm gave us a correction. They said that the name is the French spelling, and that's pronounced Michelle.
Oh!
Which gives me some thoughts, you know, about what we've been wondering for a while.
Michelle. He had spent so long refusing to interact with others. No, unable to interact with. As such, he was unsure how to respond. After standing there expressionless for a few moments, he muttered, "I'll consider it." And with that, he returned to his chamber. While he was not someone who wore his heart on his sleeve, I personally do not believe he was completely devoid of emotion. He had simply forgotten how to express them in his extended solitude. So I think he was, in that moment, in a state of complete panic. She had, after all, just assaulted him with a stream of incomprehensible declaration. That, knowing the truth, she still wished to remain in the mansion. And that, knowing the truth, she loved him. For what reason?
You know, I was actually thinking about this, and this was one of the reasons why I wanted to try sharing the music with you, because I think... Do you remember that scene when we went to the master bedroom?
Mm-hmm. And, like, there was a maid opening the curtains and stuff?
Yeah, and talking to someone. I kind of have been getting the impression that that might be these two. And even though this has all been kind of rushed, in a way, if I'm correct, if that scene is these two, I'm kind of convinced of their love by that scene alone. And a big part of that was because the music during that was so beautiful. It's probably the brightest we have ever seen this game, even including sections of the first door, which was, called the Golden Age. But most of all, and I even mentioned this, how that entire area where we were walking around the mansion without the maid, how that seemed the saddest section of the entire game to me thus far because of just how hopeless and desolate and dark everything was, and how we were seeing all these spirits who were trapped there because of how they were unable to move on and the anguish they felt. And yet, despite the curse this mansion has, despite how bleak everyone else was, that one memory there was so full of love and cheer that it was able to overcome it and show us a positive memory, and such it was such a beautiful scene.
Dang.
But who knows? I might be wrong. They might not even be those two.
Maybe it was this maid and him.
It could be.
The love she had declared for Michel was not a fleeting puppy love. There was genuine tenderness and warmth to her words. But he had gone through his life shunned, feared, pushed away.
I have so many feelings.
To him, that was normal.
Just a tiny itty bit of a positive one.
He had never given anyone reason to have any fondness for him. So he found himself utterly unsure how to take the affection she was shown. Of course, he was not the only one rattled by the whole affair.
Oh dear.
Several days had passed. Is this
Uh,
her?
several. You keep going. We'll see.
Several days had passed since Michel had asked for time to think. He had still yet to show himself again.
Hello, Binks. This is all my fault.
The white-haired girl paced anxiously through the halls on the off chance she might run into him. As per his request, though, she kept her distance from his chamber. Nevertheless, she was beginning to worry about the fact that he had secluded himself away for so long. So she worked up her courage and made her way to his room.
What if. What if he doesn't ever want to see me again? I didn't consider I might be overstepping my bounds before opening my mouth.
Every step she took was slow and laborious. Her mind raced with worry and
I should at least tell him I'm sorry.
rather than out of a desire to know how he felt, she was compelled by guilt and a desire to apologize. After walking for some time, she arrived at a door sitting in an utterly unlit hallway. She drew in a breath of musty air, then let it out, repeating the process several times. Next, she reached her hand up to knock on the door, then pulled it back, also doing this a number of times. Oh, how adorable she was. I wanted nothing more than to give her a little nudge. After all, she was too sweet a girl for her worries to be anything but misplaced.
I'm doing well, Binks. How about you?
How's everyone in chat?
How are you, Kanetsu?
I'm okay. I'm getting a cold, so I'm feeling kind of tired.
Oh. I just can't find the courage. Maybe I should come back another day. But what's the point of waiting? I need to apologize and get the weight off his back now.
She gathered her courage once more, this time determined she would do it. The white-haired girl moved her small fist towards the door, which then swung open.
I'm sorry.
Please, you must announce your presence. I almost walked right into you. Aw, thanks, Binks. Are you in that much of a hurry for a mishap?
I'm sorry.
And I believe I told you to stay away from my chamber.
You did. So I spent a long time debating whether I would, but I decided I really wanted to tell you this.
Oh well, actually,
I'm truly sorry.
what?
The other day, I could barely manage to get the words in my head all the way to my mouth. There was no room in my head for anything else. I shoved my own thoughts and feelings into your face, not considering that might not be what you wanted. Just running nonstop, not thinking at all. I was terribly disrespectful to you, completely selfish. You're a kind-hearted man. I truly believe that. But you were only being courteous because you're a nice man. I'm sure you have little interest in the affections of a queer little girl. So, I would love it if I could stay here. It would be a wonderful blessing. But if you really don't want me here, if my feelings are imposing upon you, then I apologize. I'm sorry, and I'll take my leave of this house. Um, uh, I'm sorry?
Don't be, my mind went blank for a moment.
What?
I find it difficult to comprehend you. The other day, you were firm in your intentions to stay, and now you say you'll leave without a
You holed up in your room for so long that I thought, you didn't want me around. To be honest, I want to stay here. I do.
I think you should do whatever pleases you.
Huh?
You can stay, or you can leave. I will not pressure you to do one or the other.
So, I'm not imposing.
To tell you the truth, I had to think about that for some time. However, I have now come to something of a solution. Since you're here, come into my room.
What? But I thought I wasn't allowed to.
To prevent what almost happened a few months ago. Moments ago, not months, I'm sorry. So we don't accidentally run into each other.
Sorry.
You're forgiven. Now come in.
Okay. Anime posters all over the walls.
It's my room.
Is this a necklace?
If that's what it looks like to you, then I suppose that means I succeeded. Pick it up.
It has a little bell. It's adorable.
Please make an effort to wear that while you're in the house. Because it's so dark. There will always exist the
Pamitha's
the
moonshine?
huh?
Did you get into Pamitha's moonshine?
Yes.
Sure.
No. You get nothing. Because it's so dark, there will always exist the risk that we might accidentally bump into one another.
I mean, if not for the situation, then yeah, that would be kind of weird. But I mean, I think it's a decent solution in these circumstances.
So I tried to come up with a way to reduce that risk that didn't involve actually putting candles around the house.
Does that mean you didn't leave your room because you were working on this?
That's right. What other reason would I have?
It does make me wonder though why he does stick to only candles. Like the only thing I can really think of is that he doesn't want the mansion to look inviting, so less people try to come by. But
But
yeah,
like, once you're already inside, I guess it wouldn't matter.
no. I think most people would assume it was because they had put you in a bad mood, or that you didn't want to see them.
I have little sense of how most people see the world.
Sorry. I appreciate it though. I'm really glad to know that you put so much thought into a life together with me. He's like, whoa, you're going a little far there.
It would be difficult not to after the other day.
I'm so happy right now. I can't think of any better word to describe it. I couldn't be happier.
You're being dramatic. To tell you the truth, I feel a little bad about it.
Why?
It seems rather impertinent to affix a bell to someone. You're not livestock. You're a person.
That's why you turned it into a necklace. Thank you very much. I'll keep it on me at all times. I really, truly appreciate it, Lord Michelle. Moon, no, 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 no.
She's got a what?
A Nanami bell, as in Nanami from Revolutionary Girl Utena,
Oh.
who at some point starts wearing this giant cowbell because she mistakes it for being something fashionable.
Oh god. Don't call me Lord, please.
Alright, then, um, I'll just call you Michelle. And will you please call me Giselle?
Giselle and Michelle. The windows.
What?
To the wall. If we could open the windows. Never mind. I was just thinking you wouldn't need the bell at all if we could get some light in here.
Hmm? They can't be opened.
They're rusted shut. All the windows have been shuttered for as long as I've been here.
I assume you had boarded them all up.
That was done long before I ever arrived. After so many years here, though, I hardly consider it an inconvenience anymore. It also serves to repel wanderers.
Oh, really?
Is there something odd about that?
No, no. It's just, I realized I had the wrong impression about a number of things. As I learn more, I see things in a different light. See you in a different light. And I'm sure there's still plenty more for me to learn.
Of all the people I have ever met, you are perhaps the most difficult to predict. Not only do you have no aversion to the darkness, you...
The dark has always been a close friend of mine. Which isn't to say I dislike the sun. Its light can simply be a bit too strong for me. I'm like some kind of unholy monster that can't be exposed to sunlight.
You are anything but unholy. My name would suit you. Much better than me. What? We should check the thing.
Oh, right. Oh boy. Alright, let's see. Oh, that's an unpleasant noise right
Oh.
now. Alright, well, we've got this. What a beautiful story. Much better than the real thing, is it not, my dear? Also, actually, that reminds me, I did have a thought. Do you remember how the last thing she said was something about rewriting the woman you love?
Right.
Maybe that's in reference to Giselle, and that's why she keeps being reincarnated.
Oh. What is that sound? Ugh. What is it?
It's like crunching bones or something? Something being chewed? I don't know. I don't like it. Let's move on.
Ooh, I like those sounds.
Uh, I don't know. I don't think this is. Well, go ahead.
Is this
Try. Let's say it's the maid for now until we learn
okay?
otherwise.
That day, when I first saw Giselle, I was wary of her, apprehensive. I didn't want her anywhere near me. Oh, look at the sprite!
Mm-hmm.
But as my doubts about her faded, I began feeling something very different. As the lump in my heart had been melted away.
Maybe it's Michelle.
I think so. I began to yearn
You're welcome, Binks. Mwah, love ya.
for her to be at my side, knowing full well it couldn't possibly last. Knowing full well how foolish it was. I found myself captivated by her. I found myself wishing
Stop.
to have her stay with me.
Ugh.
Boom!
Well, that was well timed.
I thought that said gentle torsos, not gentle tones.
Gentle torsos.
And that marked the true beginning of their quiet days together in the dark mansion. They acknowledged and accepted each other's presence, no longer isolating themselves, but actively, regularly conversing. As mundane as it might seem, it was something they had been unable to attain until. Nevertheless, they were still somewhat fumbling around in the dark with one another, drawing closer and pushing away. Michel, in his own ungraceful way, was beginning to open himself up to the things she said. And the white-haired girl. Why do they? Why?
I know. I'm suspicious of that too.
Yeah. Was beginning to smile with greater frequency. They had taken to dining together, and her wish of learning to read was being granted. He taught her in the feeble light of a candle placed upon the table, the two sitting across from one another. Though Michel seemed to be well educated, he had not been instructed in the art of teaching, so he found the process quite grueling. But to the white-haired girl, the longer it took, the better. Her primary objective was, after all, to spend time with him. The days passed, and eventually she reached the point where her comprehension was adequate enough without assistance. Her next request, then, was for them to read through a book together.
Have you read every book in the library?
No, I stopped looking at them after a while. Most everything I'm sent is dull, uninformative dreck. The Diary of a Lord, foolish make-believe tale.
You're not fond of fiction, I take it.
What value is there in the lies and fantasies of another?
Stories can be invigorating. Tales of adventure can take you places you could never go. Legends of heroes, folklore, stories of otherworldly phenomena. They can be terrifying, they can be exhilarating. They may not be real, but they give you a little glimpse into the author's heart, lets you feel like you're seeing the same thing they saw.
You are a very empathetic girl. Fiction inspires nothing of the sort in me. However,
Hmm?
perhaps long ago, it may have been able to, though I can no longer remember what it feels like.
I'm sure it'll come back to you. You're not an empty man. Sorry. I'm making you uncomfortable again. How about we read this book today?
It appears to be a collection of legends.
You haven't read this one yet, then? That's good to hear. It'll be more enjoyable if it's a new experience for the both of us. It looks like it's a record of local legends.
The book is divided into several sections, though it appears to be mostly superstitions.
I am curious what kind of stories this area has.
The two of them were looking down at a simple, undecorated volume. As the white-haired girl had said, it seemed to be a collection of local legends passed down generation to generation. They sat across from one another at the table, her turning the pages and Michelle simply watching so as not to brush against. Eventually, her her eyes were drawn to a particular word on one of the pages, bringing her hands to a stop.
The witch. Ooh.
That chapter detailed the story of a witch, or, more precisely, said witch's curse. The story went something like this.
Mm.
There once was a witch skilled in the dark art. She lived a meager but peaceful life alongside the other villagers. But then, a long drought struck the village, which the people blamed on the wind. The witch was sentenced to death, and as the fire blazed around her, smoke rose high into the air. The smoke soon became rain clouds, blessing the village with an end to the drought. The crops were revitalized, and the villagers fancied themselves heroes. However, the rain also brought madness upon the people. Though the earth below them was lush and fertile, the villagers were losing their minds, and they eventually began to take each other's lives. The witch still lived on, form of a curse. Many fell victim to the witch's curse. Though it did not only take, it also fulfilled people's desires. The villagers had gone mad, but their wish for freedom from the drought had been granted. Thus the legend had been passed down as follows. The witch will grant your wish in exchange for great sacrifice. As smoke in the sky, she watches down upon us from above. To reach the witch, climb for the heavens. But know that road is a road to destruction.
Hmm.
So... Wait, no, he had the curse when he was born.
Yeah. Hmm. People still believe the witch's legend even now, I suppose. And that's why I...
Face accusations of being a witch. This is not an area very welcoming to outsiders. Especially one who stands out as much as you. What brought you to this region in the first place?
Mine is a story I'm sure you've heard before. I was cast out of my house. I come from a very poor family. We could barely even afford to keep everyone fed. Being as weak as I am, it was only natural that I would be the first to go.
I see.
What I don't understand, though, is why the witch is said to grant people's wishes. That is to say, she had reason enough to hold a grudge, but not to give people things they asked for.
All we have to go on is a few pages. There's no saying what might have been changed or added over time, and it's almost certain the entire legend isn't written. That said, if we were to accept everything as written, you can infer what the witch's reason might have been.
And that is...
If you truly want it that much, you can have it, but I'll make certain your suffering outweighs despair that comes after a moment of happiness.
You got cut off.
Yeah, I stopped because I started yawning.
Oh.
Is far more agonizing than despair alone. I presume that is why the witch decided to grant people's wishes.
By the way, if anyone here follows my stuff, my LPs here, but you don't yet follow my personal channel, I have started doing some non-gaming stuff there too, so if you'd like, if that interests you, you should go check it out. You don't have to, but I would appreciate it. It's cute! Time to kill it. Hello everyone, welcome back to 4pixels. Coco here, continuing I Am Setsuna.